Good morning everyone. We're brewing up our American Pale adventure today, our first cake beer, which is going in that fermenter over my shoulder. We've just got up to temp, it's about 80 degrees. By the time we've mashed in, it's a perfect 67, where it was last brew day, fingers crossed. Here's the base malt, crushed extra pale malt. Then we have about 5% each of torrefied wheat and naked flake oats, and then rice hulls for good measure. Our salt additions are 2-to-1 in favour of sulphate, because we want it to be a bit more of a crisp American Pale. Then some lactic acid for good measure to make sure we hit our mash pH. Mashing in now. I've sped up the clip, otherwise we'd be here forever watching it. It's pretty boring. We were doing 2.5 liquor to grist ratios, but it was just a bit of a ball ache. I thought that extra 0.5 of water in there really helps with mashing in. And because grains are so well modified these days, perfectly happy with a 3-to-1 ratio by the end. I think that's enough yapping from me. Let's get mashed in. The back of our brewery faces Portchester Precinct car park, so we get a lot of looks, especially on a busy Saturday. As you can see in the video, we've got a couple here that have come up to the brewery interested in what we're doing, having a good chin wag, and it helped pass the time whilst I was mashing in. I can't remember their names, but they said they'll pop into the pub and try the beer, but the support is always welcome. We'll leave that for an hour now, and then yeah, we'll crack on. Just on the Vorluff, aka Recirc now. You can see very sugary, very dense in sugar, a little bit of haze in there from the protein. We have our mash sample as well here, which is going to cool down inside. This pic shows our sparge process from the mash tun to HLT. Mashing out time now. We've hit the boil. That's 300 grams of Simcoe, American Simcoe. It gives about 17 IBUs, a bit of a bittering addition. And then we're going to have a Whirlpool edition or steep edition at 85 Celsius with 1.2 kilograms of equal measure of US Simcoe, US Cascade. Fermenter is sanitising now. It's got a Recirc loop on. All of the fittings in there are soaking in peracetic acid. Just got to climb into the mash tun, give it a scrub out and a rinse. Boil's about halfway underway. And then here are the hop stand additions. We're going to be chilling the work down to 85 Celsius, so we minimise bitterness, but get as much hot side aroma and flavour. It's 600 grams of US Cascade and 600 grams of US Simcoe. Also, the bittering addition was 300 grams of Simcoe at the start of the boil to give us about 17 IBU, and then the rest of the IBUs, about 13 IBUs, are coming from the late hop addition in the steep. So we're chilling the work down to 85 Celsius now. Just going through the heat exchanger, about 28 Celsius. That's hot water coming out the other end of the exchange. And we're just getting down to 85C. Our hops are in, perfect temperature for a steep at 85C. Got some nice clear wort on its way to the tank. So it's day 4 after brewing now. As you can see, we've got activity in the fermenter. hold it steady at temp. I've just set it to 25 to let it free rise and clean up the alpha acetolactate, because I've just taken a sample when I'm not falling over in the brewery. Taking a sample and it's gone from 1040 down to 1010 now, which is absolutely rapid, probably because of the aspect of fermenting under pressure. But yeah, because it's basically finishing, I've set it to free rise to clean up, and then we'll get our dry hop in it tomorrow probably. Dry hop day, kilogram of Simcoe and Citra T90. It's going to be the equivalent of 4 grams per litre. Let's get it in. This dry hop port is an absolute godsend for single dry hopping. Because I had a gas line in on here just for a blanket of CO2 up the sip arm onto the top, and then as it goes with a dry hop, hops triggered nucleation, and I just about got the second bag in, the second of the kilo bags in before yeah, we would have got a hop volcano. First day after dry hopping, so we're going to rouse those hops, get that lovely T90 hop slurry, shoot it into the tank so we get as much aroma and flavour extraction as possible. Here we go. And now it's going to be bubbling inside the tank. You can hear it bubbling now. Just come in to dump some yeast before we carbonate tomorrow and rack on Thursday. Just taking a sample, and yeah, look at that. Hazy, hoppy, should settle out a little bit more over the next couple of days. But yeah, smelling absolutely wonderful. Citra and Simcoe there. There's a little bit of carbonation in there, probably about 1.2, you can see some tight carbonation, probably about 1.2 vols of CO2, which is normal for fermentation. But we're going to pump that up to about 2.3 vol, and we're going to be doing that via the carbonation step. Carbonation day, just done a final dump of yeast from the bottom port and from the rack and arm as well. Tank's in at 1 degree, and with some maths we've worked out that we're going to need to inject 1.9 kilograms of CO2 into the carb stone to achieve 2.3 volumes of CO2, and then we're going to use our spunning valve because it's currently at equilibrium, which at this temperature is 8 psi, and it means that the CO2 with the aid of the carb stone will inject the CO2 directly into the beer because it's currently at equilibrium. Cool stuff. And we're carbonating. When this hits 17.8, we know we put 2 kilograms CO2 in, and at equilibrium.
And here's the finished product. Phil and I pouring pints of it. On the launch event, we went through 2 kegs of it, 100 pints, and the reception was brilliant. So huge thank you to our patrons for taking a punt on us. We're really excited for the future. The next brew will be in a couple months because I've got some personal admin stuff to see to, but we're excited to get back in brewing. So if you like this video, like, comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Cheers!